So friendly reminder, have you praised today? I saw some of you in the channel putting in some praise before this, and I was in there too. So I love that this has kind of become a reminding point to remind people to praise if they haven't been. And, you know, I was in the last rewards meeting, and I know that all of those of us have been, all of you guys in here have been quantifying so much. So I'm not going to advertise to quantify more. So I guess we can just start out here with intentions and distractions. How you're feeling, intentions for the call, and if you have any distractions, we can start. I am feeling very clear today, and also very pressured. My intentions for the call are just to kind of like define next steps for some of these things. We've had a lot of these agenda topics for the last few weeks, and so I just want to kind of get some clarity on what the next action steps are for a lot of them. And my distractions are just like the many things and all the excitement for all the many things and wanting to do them all now at the same time. And I will pass it to Nicola.
Thanks, Ash. I'm feeling pretty great because I do enjoy a lot of good what was the word I wanted to say? Self-love development practice. I don't know how to call this, but it just feels so good and it makes me feel so good. So when I focus on that, and what? I'm just a little bit distracted by my thoughts about this right now. And I'm here to sync up with you. Intentions for the call, maybe just some updates. I get some updates. And yep, that's it. Passing on to Claire.
Thanks, Nicola. Hi, everyone. Just a short one for me today. I'm feeling okay. My intention is just to listen and contribute where I can be useful. I missed last week, so I'm wanting to sync up as well. I'm not distracted, but I just got a couple of things that I'm finishing off in the background. I guess that is a bit of a distraction. I'm going to hand over to Franco.
Sorry, I just couldn't unmute myself. Thank you, Claire. Hi, everybody. I'm feeling okay today. I'm feeling good. Intentions for the call is streaming and just catch up, see where I can help, and yeah, distractions at the moment. I'm just doing a little bit of quantification in the background, but that's it. And I'll pass it to small crowd today. I'll pass it to Almond.
Thank you, Franco. GM, everyone. I'm feeling, I don't know, my stomach is a little bit weird today, but I'm okay. My intentions for the call is to talk about the updates. I work around the ambassador program and also to sync with the final details of Meet the Makers and no distractions. And I'll pass it back to you, Ash.
Yeah, it is a small crowd today, but that's okay. I mean, although it would be nice to have a couple people, I think that maybe we can make some good progress with the people we do have here. So yeah, let's take a look at the event calendar. It's looking like, oh, I see Jake just jumped in. We were just about to start. Did you want to check in?
I'm over my head right now, getting caught up on things, but that would be the distraction for sure. And intentions, just kind of listen in. I'm going to be pulled away in the coming weeks with some other stuff, so I don't know how many Communitas meetings I will get to, but I always like to just listen what's going on with the team. And I don't think I have anything that's pending because I've been on Gitcoin most of the week with outreach, but listening in. And thanks, Ash, for giving me the opportunity. Back to you.
Yeah, no problem. I just wanted to make sure if there was anything that we wanted to talk about. So welcome. And yeah, let's jump into the events. So I guess I'm going to move this one up. Meet the Makers is the next one. That's happening on the 8th, so about a week from today. We'll have it at 10 a.m. Costa Rica time. It's confirmed, and we do have a section for it here, so maybe we just want to do a check-in. It looks like we're about a week away, so we probably want to start our comms to go out here soon. So what do we have?
Yeah, thanks. We already did the test with Almond, so we tested the StreamYard stream. We have everything ready. Praise Almond for amazing comms preparation and banner and everything. So I'm going to be sending this actually to our guests today with some more tips on sharing about the event. And yeah, if we can just, again, whoever is here feeling inspired to spread the word and maybe like send a little bit more of a personal invites. This time it's going to be interesting combination of a project that is, it's all about inclusion. And so this like combination will be in the terms of like the variety, also inclusion in a variety of the projects. So we will have a ArtXV, which is an amazing project that is all about including neurodivision artists and like actually through selling their art and NFTs, creating goods in that sector. Or then we have here bridging indigenous cultures in Costa Rica on the ground, and we'll have some of the earth regenerators organizers too from the Vivero project. So very nice variety. So if you guys think of anyone, since our community is the biggest community of donors for Giveth, so keep that in mind. And maybe even if like if you keep, yeah, whoever you can invite, please do, and help us to spread the word. That would be it. I don't know, Almond, if you want to add something.
Sure. So just a change in this edition of Meet the Makers. We're going to have people joining through different social media and communication Giveth channels, meaning Giveth Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So the session is going to be happening live through all these 3 different channels, but still we're going to invite the people to join in our Discord mostly. So the session will be streamed on our Discord too. So this is an experiment to see how this new format works with Meet the Makers. We want to reach out more people, so we're going to see if this actually is something that could help amplify the audience. And tweets are already scheduled. And Ashley, I drafted an email. Do you think that you could help me send it? Because Ahmad, I think that is kind of off these days. He haven't answered, so if you can help
Yeah,
me.
definitely. Is it already, so it's already reviewed and everything? It's ready to go in?
Yeah, I asked everyone to review and only Suga did it. Maybe you can check it out
Okay.
too. Yeah. I tagged you in the issue and I'm going to post the issue here.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I can take a look at that. So tweets are all ready to go. It's basically just letting comms know, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then just make sure that whoever is going to be streaming or sharing their screen on Discord, we just need to define if we're going to stream through YouTube or StreamYard. That was the question that we were talking last week.
Okay.
So you need someone to share the screen in Discord, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Do you have someone, Ashley, are you gonna do it, or do you want me to take that on?
So there's kind of 2 roles that I see needed here. We're also going to need somebody to collect the questions. So if people are on YouTube, there's a chat where they can ask questions and things like that. So we'll need somebody also monitoring the different places where it's being streamed and sending the questions to Nicola or whoever's hosting this session, and so that they can ask those questions. And then, so between these two, the thing is, I don't think that the person sharing their screen should also be the person collecting the questions. So I can collect questions if you want to share screen, or vice versa.
Why cannot one person do both?
Because then everybody will watch. I mean, I guess you could share your screen differently and then do it. I don't know. It just seems like a lot to also to be sharing your screen and being in the Discord interacting, and then also to be like out on Twitter, YouTube, and whichever other one I forgot.
Yeah, because technically what's happening, the meeting is happening on a StreamYard, right? So we just need like somebody actually streaming the screen from the Discord, and also since everybody else will be seeing the screen, it would be nice if somebody else, is like as clicking between the windows and checking out the questions and maybe collecting them and sending. So I guess that's the point that Ashley wanted to make, that why it needs to be a different person.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I can do whichever. I'm fine with doing Discord or the other one. So it's as you want, Ash.
Share my screen on Discord then, and you collect the questions and send them over to Nicola on the different platforms.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. Because then I can still like be present in the Discord and like interact with people and stuff, and I think that I would like that. Okay. Is there anything else that we're missing that needs to be planned for? I mean, it looks like everything's ready. I feel complete. How do you feel confident and complete on this, Nicola and Omen?
Only one thing, we were saying that as we have 3 projects confirmed, it would be better to have an hour session instead of 90-minute session to not extend ourselves that long. So we were saying that these would be maybe better if we cut it to 60 minutes.
Yes. Or somebody magically think of another project that is around inclusion that could actually participate, and we can still keep it 90. But as for now, makes sense for 1 hour since we are on number 3. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, so I will try to think of one too, maybe by the end of the day or something. And if not, then I made a little note here. So if we don't get another one, we'll do only 60 minutes. The invites all say 90 minutes at this point, though, right?
You mean in the calendar?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, but I can fix that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let's see. I'll try to reach out. I feel like I can think of one or two, but okay. All right. Let's move on. The flea workshop is confirmed for February 10th. We invited Solar Punk Guild already, Kotabe. They will be participating for sure, and this date works for them.
We haven't invited. You hear me, right?
Yep, we hear you.
Cool. Okay. We haven't made the invitation, and like all Solar Punk Guild has been, like yesterday had a 12-hour marathon for different brands, so they've been running around like crazy. But I'll let them know. I'll do it today. Or I don't know what's better. Maybe today. I don't think that it's so bad.
Okay. Good. Other than that, and when it comes just participation, I see there's no other support. If there is, let us know.
Yeah. I also have like a few other people that I can ask around. But I think the Powerful Guild and Giveth, that's good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know if this is the right time. I think it is, since we're talking about the flea workshop. So I think that it's great that we are going to have a workshop at the flea. But there's been some changes to what kind of like my expectations and driving me a bit crazy, but I'll just answer that. To some of the sleeping, and one of them I heard about it on Friday, and it's we are probably, well, I mean, I did kind of like sort of hear it before, but it was not sure. But we're not going, like for the workshop, there's not going to be like electronic uh, devices because it's in a sort of like a retreat place where there is no internet. And they're trying to see right now if they can get like satellite internet, but they are suggesting to make workshops that are not kind of like too digital. And so I kind of like this, with this in mind, on Friday I was working on how to do what you can do on the Giveth platform. I kind of like made a game, like a board game, with tokens, well, like literal tokens, like casino chips, and like, okay, this is money, this is give, and if you turn this, like if you turn this around, then it's give power, and you can lock it, and something like that, and it's all like region economy, and I actually think that it's a nice game, and I've been having that idea on the back of my mind for some time. I think it's like not a bit, it's bold to make a game on a conference that is like so formal, but it can work. I'm just like, we are supposed to resubmit the content of the workshop with the descriptions so that they can put it on the agenda. And I'm still kind of like looking for feedback on if this is too bold and I should actually just give a talk, maybe have a downloaded video and show the video, or like something downloaded. Yesterday I asked Mo if we could do something with Maze that doesn't require internet. He said no, and so I'm just trying to collect some feedback, or if someone wants to chip in on this and help me find what's best, that's good. That would be great. Because I still don't know, like they will have like satellite internet, or if they won't. They don't know either. I guess it's early. Any thoughts?
That's a big transition, a big change to what we originally were planning for, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Wow. So we still want to move forward with having the practice workshop scheduled just in case they do have satellite internet. I mean, if they don't have internet, is it really worth the time and resources and energy to go? And I don't know. That's really hard. Maybe does anybody else have comments?
You mean but in the practice on the 10th or at the flea? Sorry, I just missed that. At the flea, right?
At the flea we won't have internet, and I think that what Ashley meant is, does it make sense then to have the practice workshop at the 10th? I will lean towards yes, anyways, because even if we do a different workshop, I think it will be nice to practice it.
My question would be here, like, so if they don't have internet, like generally, do they have access to internet? And like that would be question, because if they like don't have access, like what's the outcome here?
So first 2 days, like every day is going to be on a different venue. One venue is like Bogota, for those who went to Bogota, or Barcelona is like an expo. So there is not going to be any problem with that. Another day, which is more for panels. Then the other 2 days are in haciendas. Haciendas in Mexico are these places that kind of like are huge colonial houses or terrain, very beautiful. but are more kind of like field houses of the colonial times, like the 1600s, that were huge and beautiful, and they were not being thought to be internet enabled. And so that last day is going to be that place where there is also not phone reception, and they're trying to see if there's satellite internet. So only that day they won't have internet. We can still kind of like work around on some other things, but that's what we have to work.
Wow, interesting. I wonder if, like, to start with, actually, like a project of like bringing the connection there first would be good start before trying to integrate them into a Web3. Is that a intention, right?
I didn't understand.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't have enough my own research around this workshop to actually be able to engage more in this conversation. So I'm asking like a basic questions, because I don't know what this is like really. This whole workshop. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Sorry, I don't want to take the word here for the call, but yeah, I guess I'll leave somebody else. Sorry.
That's fine. Just the general intention with these workshops at Flee, and I think, like, for me, it can be something that goes beyond Flee. I just want for both projects and people that can use the platform to better understand what the platform is for, and not only understand it while they're using it and maybe abandon in the middle of the journey. I kind of like, I want to help people understand how can they use Giveth better. What I've seen is that even people that have heard a lot about Giveth probably have not used the platform, and they get confused with some things. And that is my intention, and it was my intention for the attendance to the play, because I thought that I think that they are an ideal audience for it. So yeah, so that is my intention with the workshop, just to teach people like projects how they can create a project, donors how they can use use the Give Back program, use Give Power, and eventually what's the end goal of creating a regenerative economy. So yeah.
I love that. I love that intention. Just to say that.
So just to be clear on everything, on the details, I know that you were having conversations because the tickets were too expensive, and I believe that we were getting only one free ticket. So do you know if everything is going to happen as we were planning, meaning Mateo, Bricia, and you will be attending, or the team will get reduced? And then the other thing is, having in mind this game, would you like to do on the 10th the game practice, or what would be the practice that you would like to have on the 10th?
That's a good question. And yeah, first, Ashley and I, well, like everyone, we're still trying to sort out what we can do. Bridget has managed to get a 50% discount for her ticket because she was being invited to the panel from another side, but I think that this like hectic, chaotic organization happened in several fronts, and a lot of people kind of like were said like, oh, you can have a panel for this or that, and then at some point it kind of like fell off. So Bridget was going to get into a panel, but she wasn't, but she did got a 50% discount on one ticket. I've been trying a couple of different angles, and they haven't worked to get more tickets and more discounts. I have one last angle to take, which is Magic was promised a ticket, and she is actually being super nice enough to say, hey, give it team needs it, and they're going to take more advantage of it. I'll give it to you. So Magic is going to talk with Caro to try to, but we all still don't know like if that kind of like was promised and is not going to happen anyway. I think that it just And I don't blame her. I mean, I sort of do, but like, it just went out of control. I think it's the first time that she's organizing. Like the previous editions were organized by another person. And I just think that there were some things that happened because she didn't have the expertise and it just went out of her hands. And then she has to respond to a board. And so we'll see if we can get one more ticket or not, but we're still unsure if we're going to have like the 3 people that we expected earlier. We're doing what we can. Having said that, I do want to do the workshop on February 10th. I don't know which, like, if it's going to be the game or not. If I take full ownership of this, I will lean towards it. I think it's bold, but I think it can pay off to do this in a non-digital way. I think it's going to be different. Like all workshops are just going to be talked, and having a game is going to make a difference. I am from like I really like board games. I put some energy and thought into this. I really like the outcome. I still think it's bold. I don't know how it will turn out, but I think it's making like how to use the platform fun. And the game called Origin Economy, and it's interesting how like projects can at the end become region economies or do different things also to try to get more investors. I think it's going to be fun, but yeah, that's just my thought, and I really want feedback because I'm biased, of course.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think that we could talk about this a lot longer, but we're already halfway through our call just at the beginning of the agenda. So you'll have a call this Friday, right, to discuss the fleet planning? Because that was the day that you chose, right? Friday?
Thursday.
Thursday, that's right. So Thursday at 2 p.m. we can meet up and like maybe talk through some of these details and have some feedback. I just want to kind of like move through our agenda. I don't think it really changes our next steps too much. We're still planning to have this practice workshop. So whether that be this game or whether that be the workshop that you had already planned, and maybe you could do something like recording like a Loom video in advance and like showing that on the screen or something like that. So maybe there is some options and we can brainstorm together on that. I just don't want to take too much more time.
I agree. Thank you. Sorry.
Yeah. No problem.
The call.
I'm glad because that's a big change. So glad that we can plan for it. This Twitter space is coming up on the 15th, Education in Web3. We have Bankless at T Academy. Did you get a hold of Arbonica?
Yes, Umberto confirmed, so they're going to be joining too.
Perfect. Cool, and then we're full, right? With those 3, you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think that we can have a more chill Twitter space. Maybe it will not last an hour. And just to talk with this project, especially with Bankless Academy, that they were the ones that asked us to jump in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's on track. And we still have time for comms and stuff. Give Power Workshop, I know that's all ready to go. Eventbrite's here, so if you guys wanted to share this, if you know anybody who's using Give Power right now, please invite them because that's the people that we really want to hear from the most. Like, invite everybody, but if you know people who are currently using Give Power, like, get them in there. And then this Eat Denver Twitter space, I saw you were talking with Shannon. We're still not really confirmed on the day, right? I think we'll just have to be flexible.
Exactly. We're aiming for the 22.
Okay.
But Shannon mentioned that the event would be very close on the 22, so they're going to see if they can jump. But it would be on the 22. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, honestly, even if we did it on a different day, it would be okay since it's kind of a special one. I don't know. If it means that we can fit in their schedule better.
Yeah, you're right. I'm going to ask her today, maybe another day better. The answer that I received, it was just that would be, that date was very close. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Really. for another day.
Okay. And are there any events that I'm missing on here?
Don't miss GM this Friday. That's it.
Okay. GM on Friday.
I just want to say, comment quickly on GM that the last episode, Almond was just so awesome, where you were just so casually talking with Griff. I couldn't enjoy enough like how it was like so captivating and like just talk about this perspective on crypto and its evolution and Griff's past and like all these beautiful um, analogies on like how we're evolving as a community, you know, this whole community. I really recommend everyone to listen to it if you haven't.
Thank you so much. We really enjoy it, and that was an improvisation because the guest didn't show up. So, thank you so much, Nicola.
So let's get into the bulk of the agenda here. I put this on here because it's been a while since we had one. So I thought now that the Gitcoin craziness is getting over, maybe we wanted to do another Giveth Essentials session. I remember Corey had mentioned wanting to do one like an overview of comms and how the comms team works. There's also like a DAO voting mechanisms that was requested. I think there's a couple other topics in there we could choose from, but maybe it's time we start to plan for another one of these.
Yeah, just to clarify, it was more actually about GitHub use than comms, or maybe that's what you mean, but like, yeah, how to use GitHub in the best way, best practices.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like comms flow or comms GitHub.
Okay, yeah, cool.
That would be great if we can do. I don't know, Cody. Do you feel that you are? Do you want to schedule that, or maybe you need more time? What do you think?
I need a little more time. I am still in the Gitcoin mode, and also just coming out of that. There's a lot of other things like on my mind at the moment. So like for this week, it's hard to even like go there with my brain. But yeah, I mean, if we scheduled it out in advance, like decently in advance, we could do that. Yes.
Sure, we really don't need to do it next week or anything. It can be mid-February or maybe the third week of February or after December. I don't know, just maybe to have a date in mind, or maybe we can talk offline and organize better.
I mean, is that of value to other people? Like, that's my other question, you know, like it was just an idea. And also it probably makes sense to map out a couple ideas here and then see which one is most valuable to people at the moment. But that was definitely one I would have on the list, like for sure at some point.
Yeah, I have. Well, for me personally, I think that it would be really valuable to, especially for the comms team and community, to align on how's the best way to use GitHub, because I've seen that we all just use GitHub in different ways. About the epics, around the projects, around the labels, the tags. So I think that it would be great to align on how's just this way to standardize GitHub for all of us and for the team to manage better our tasks. I think.
Have it recorded actually, you know, essentially. I think that's what's the good part about it. It's we repeat, we just, yeah, it's a good idea.
I agree.
Just remind ourselves
I agree.
what's the drill and
Sorry.
keep it recorded. Yeah, fine.
Sorry. No, I just want to say I agree. I think this is a great idea, and I think I could like use it like a refresher about how to use GitHub. So yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think it's really valuable too, and it would be a great resource to direct people to. And it also allows you the opportunity, Corey, right now to maybe kind of like, I know you've been putting a lot of work in and the flow is already getting a lot smoother, but I think this would give you the opportunity to maybe kind of define that and set the standard for people at this point. So it's like if you really wanted to take some thought to put into like how you want it to work in the future, like the new process or, you know, the way that it works, then that would give some opportunity. Sorry, I didn't mean to ramble.
Yeah, and we're just like finalizing a couple pieces around like content management or content execution, like Claire's been heavily involved in helping to review like new content platforms, and that also ties into the way that we use GitHub. But we're like, yeah, it's the right time if we scheduled it out a bit in advance, and then we can like, yeah, make sure we have everything together. Yeah, I think it would be great to do a session.
Yeah, and the other thing is like we can choose one of the other topics too before comms if you're still feeling a little overwhelmed. Like we could do the DAO one or something. But okay. All right, well, we can align on that some more. I just wanted to kind of plant the seed and just bring this topic back to the surface because it's something we haven't done for a while, and the new year is back in the swing of momentum. The next thing that I wanted to bring up, and actually, did you guys have more on that? I don't want to just.
No, I think it's great. There's a link for everyone to drop ideas. If you have an idea, you can add it to the Notion page and start scheduling some essential sessions. I think it's great to bring it back. Thanks, Ashley.
Yeah. All right. The next thing I wanted to bring up is this GPS session. I know, Kotabe, like you've put so much work into making this happen and thought and energy to this so far. Like I would hate to see nothing come out of this. What can we do to like move forward with this and kind of wrap this up, at least for Communitas, to have some GPS, some defined GPSs that we could present?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me start. I will do a doodle. I think that what makes the most sense, we already have some things to measure and track, like some agreement on those things. And so maybe it doesn't need to be such a large goal. I just kind of like want some support because at some time I felt a bit alone pushing these, and it was at the time there was this kind of like, well, Giveth info is somewhere here, and Ramin is doing a dashboard somewhere there, and like there's kind of like people asking for information, but it's not concentrated, and there's like Mitch said, there are so many chefs on the kitchen, but then 2 months later, we still don't have some of the information that it will be like we're tracking everything, but those those things that we're tracking are not providing like that much insight that the team is seeing and following and reviewing and trying to improve. So yeah, I'll create a doodle, and I think we can talk about this. It doesn't need to be such a long session, but just define what we are going to ask for the to have for developers, and then if it's not just me trying to push it. If I like, even though after like we had 2 sessions, if I feel there is like large consensus, then I think it's easier to push it forward and say, well, this is the information that we really need every this amount of time, either in a dashboard or in a query to get it. So those are my thoughts.
Let me know. I think that's great, and I definitely want to move forward on this. Let me know if I can support you in any way. The thing for me is, especially during this process, as I felt personally, I'm learning from you in how to conduct a session like this. So it's not anything I've ever done before. So it's not something I would feel comfortable like championing or taking any sort of leadership position on, but I would definitely be willing to like help just with small tasks to support to make this go through because I think it's very valuable. Okay, so let's keep an eye out for the. Go ahead.
I'd like to add something to that. I think it's a really good time now to start talking about GPS sessions again, and thanks for putting that back on the top of the agenda. I noticed in the last couple of weeks there's been a lot of discussion about what Giveth is going to do for this coming year, what our objectives are, what particular projects and areas we're going to be working on. And I think once these objectives have been defined a little bit more, maybe we can start assigning some of these projects or ideas to the different working groups. Okay, so how do we meet these objectives? and who's responsible, and what does each working group contribute to that. And then maybe after that we can start handing it down to the working groups to start deciding how they will be working towards those objectives, how do we measure it, and how do we keep on track to make sure that we're achieving our goals in each working group. That's sort of my 2 cents worth. I think when we looked at this before, maybe we had difficulties defining what our metrics would be, because perhaps we didn't have clear direction on objectives for working groups, and even maybe Giveth overall. I think there was a lot of work on the Give economy, and it was very clear for the developers what they would be working on and what was on the roadmap for them. But I think with the new year and the new focus, there's something in there for each working group, and I think we can probably better produce metrics going forward. That was a bit of a ramble, but hopefully it made sense.
I loved it, Claire.
Yeah, and I completely agree. I think that this is the perfect time to talk about this, because I have noticed it coming up in the stewards call, coming up at, in the governance call. We need KPIs or GPSs for working groups so we can be better aligned. And then also just aligning our working groups with the circles and the budgets and everything. So it seems like it's a perfect time to be focusing on this. And if we can do this for Communitas as a working group, we could be an example for maybe the other working groups and how they could form their KPIs or GPSs. Okay, we already checked in on Meet the Makers, and let's go to the ambassador program. Did you want to give us some updates, Almond?
Sure. So, as we were talking and discussing in our last session, I already put the notes of the climate fresk session. So if you click in that Notion page, the Giveth ambassador program is not working. Yeah, it's working. So there's like the content that you can found. I added a little description about what is this program about, and then Kotabe and I were working around the details to have the forum post ready. But I would love for us, I don't know if this is the right place or maybe another session, to define these numbers, these X's that I added like in the goals. For example, in 6 months, that was the time slot that Kotabe mentioned would be good to measure. How many local chapters do we would like to launch? Local chapters meaning people representing different countries or different places, or how many ambassadors would we like to have? And I was thinking to add a percentage of growth around the Giveth community. So what percentage would be good for us to have as a KPI to measure? And then for the ambassadors, how many projects would we like to set as a percentage of onboarded projects, donors? And also another goal for the ambassadors would be to extend the Giveth's narrative and grow the Giveth's tool acquisition. So this is something that we have been working as a team, but I think that we need only to define these numbers for the forum post to be ready. Below you can see, if you want to check it out, the research and the climate fresk session, and also the Giveth Ambassadors Program document that Kotabe made. They're all linked there. Then I know that the team right now is 3 of us, so I would also love to see who else would love to participate. And then on the execution that's on the table below, I added the steps that would be missing, meaning first we need to create the forum post, then we need to create the deck and materials for the program, then define a little bit better the ambassador responsibilities, the rewards, and then start the outreach for us to have a couple of ambassadors that we can start with and have a kickoff call. And then at the end you will find the document of the of the first session of ideas that we have. Franco, Ashley, Nicola. No, Nicola, no, it wasn't there. Ahmad. So at the end of the document, there's these notes about what would be cool to, and all the ideas that we were brainstorming in that climate first session. So yeah, I would love if we could schedule some time for us to define these numbers, which I think that they are key to have in mind and be able to start. And yeah, I don't know if Kotave or Ashley would like to add something. Maybe what would be a good time just to finish this and write the forum post.
Get together for maybe like 15-30 minutes after the comms call.
Yeah, that would be really cool because I think everything is ready to start, meaning what the elements for writing the forum post and start getting some community signaling, sorry. And then yeah, just kick off that. It's like the first step to move forward. Yeah, it would be cool if you can after the comms call.
Yeah, Kotabe, would you be available after the comms call, Nicola?
Yep.
Are you available after the comms call to have a little session on the ambassador program, Nicola?
Yeah, absolutely. Count me in.
Perfect. Let's think on
Where
it
would
then.
you guys have the session?
Probably here, yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'd like to join. I wasn't aware of the last call and I missed it. So I like definitely want to be I think I can do that. It's a little last minute, but yeah, I think I can join that. I'll try to join right after the call.
Cool, yeah. And it was really cool listening to Lucille. So if you do get a chance to catch the recording, we did record it, and it's actually pretty inspiring to listen to her talk. So, all right, let's bring it back. Give Power workshop. Is there anything? It's all pretty much ready, right, Almond?
Yes, we need to now get out of the Gitcoin grant mode and start taking back our events that we moved. So yeah, but everything is just ready to go. We need to start the outreach for that, for people to come. That would be the last thing.
Cool. Okay. Miguel's not here. I know he did a episode last week, so I'd like to hear about that. As soon as I get the video, I will put it up on the YouTube. Okay, let's check in about the Aprendamos Refi community and Giveth. So for those of you here that don't know, the initiatives have decided to split. Like they're just kind of two different projects, and so we'll still continue the project interviews. Miguel will finish up the rest of his proposal that he was already paid out for, and then like if he wants to continue doing more, he'll make another proposal at that time. And then Aprendamos Refi community and this podcast that you guys have been organizing will move on its own track, and there'll be two separate initiatives. So did you guys want to give any updates around this podcast?
Yeah, I would love to Kotave to share a little bit because I know that today we're going to record the first episode. And Kotave, maybe you can give us an overview of the guests that are going to be joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have Caro from the Flea. We have invited her to share her. So basically, the way that this podcast is set up, it's let's learn refi together. That's what it means. And so the idea is to, instead of bringing guests that know that much about a new area of expertise, it's more, and well, I mean, it is that way, but it's like guests that are more deep into the weeds of like, um, uh, sorry, deep into the weeds of grassroots movements and grassroots projects, and just trying to see what they think and what they know about some challenges where Web3 is not getting there, and just trying to learn together how, like, what are the questions of the grassroots projects. And so first guests are Caro from the Flea, who is also the director of the Alianza por la Inversión de Impacto en México, which is like the Impact Investment Alliance in Mexico. And we also have Marce, who was the sustainability leader, chief of sustainability of Crepes and Waffles in Colombia, and she was working with many cooperatives and nonprofits in Colombia. Now she transitioned to work with the territorial organization agency, something like that, in Colombia. So those are going to be our two guests. And we will be discussing, what is refi basically, and why should nonprofits and for-good projects care about it.
Being recorded today, right? Is that actually being presented to the public today?
Not to the public. I don't think so, but just being recorded. That's my understanding of it, right?
Exactly. We're going to record it, and then maybe if we need to edit some parts, and then schedule the live stream for this episode to be aired.
Do we have a date for that, or that's still up in the air?
Would be great if we can, as a team, start aiming for a date for Aprendamos Refi by Giveth to be launched. Knowing that in the February we have December, I don't know if we can launch mid-February maybe, or after December. What do you think? I would love to hear your thoughts on this. If it's good to launch before or maybe after.
Personally, I feel like after is better because it's the content coming from the show isn't adding value to the hype that is about ETH Denver. So like there's not much correlation. I would assume, I mean, I'm not on comms, but Corey's here and maybe we'll talk about it in comms, but I assume that as ETH Denver gets closer, we're going to want to like post more relevant content to things about ETH Denver. And it doesn't seem like this is super aligned with the ETH Denver aspect, but it is kind of aligned with Flea, although I don't know if those members really follow our Twitter, so I'm not really sure.
That was going to be my 2 cents. I think that it would be worth to have it before Flea, because even though they are not following us on Twitter, at Flea, 1/3 of the audience is going to be sort of like these change makers, impact makers. And it will be great to have kind of like a YouTube link to reference it to, hey, you want to know why crypto can be good for you as an impact project? Check out this podcast in Spanish. It's in Spanish. It's like 101. Maybe you don't know much about crypto, but like I think this can be helpful for you.
Okay, great. So maybe we can aim for the I don't know, the week of the 23rd of no, sorry, I'm looking at January. The week of the 20th. 20, yeah. Go ahead, Ashley.
I was just asking, maybe Corey might have an idea of kind of the scheduling and whether it's a good time. What would be good for the comms team?
All right.
This is just for like the release of this podcast.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I'm fine. I agree with Kotabe's comments. Definitely makes sense to have it before Flea, ready to go, referenceable. So yeah, why not? I guess like the week before or anytime before that. I'm not sure what the rest of the schedule looks like for the podcast, so it's kind of hard for me to comment more. But I would definitely say before Flea, yeah. And I mean, is there anything we're doing with the podcast that's like really relevant to East Denver? I think as long as we have the things out before those conferences, it doesn't really matter so much the exact date because it's recorded, right? And can be shared.
Exactly. Okay, perfect. So if we all agree, let's aim for the week of the 20th, so the team has materials to share at the.
And what's the cadence on this? It's like something that's going to be monthly or just randomly?
Yeah, the beginning we mentioned month at the beginning of the time, like a long time ago.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah. But I also, like, as Almond and I share that maybe after these first podcasts, seeing how it goes, kind of like learn from it. The second or third iteration, we could do something like what Riff and Almond are doing, which is like batch and batch. Is that the right word? No. Bundle. A few kind of like podcast recording together, and then like we can even change the periodicity. We'll see. I think that we first want to see how the first one goes, and kind of like how do we feel about it, and then what's the appetite for it, and what topics can we come up with that can be very helpful for the nonprofits.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. Keep us posted and let's see how the recording goes, and we'll aim to get it out the week of February 20th. Now we've got 2 or 3 more agenda points here and only like 1 more minute left. So I don't know if there's anything that needs to be really said about Punkstone Means or the project survey in this last moment, but if there is, now's the time.
I don't have any updates for this right now.
Project survey is more comms related now at this stage, so we can
Yeah,
talk about it in the next call.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I figured we're still figuring out logistics of how we'll reward people with Give Power, and I think that's really the only community-based thing. Well, sounds good, and we're at the top of the hour. Thanks everybody for coming, and I'll
Thank
see you in the
you.
comms call.